All we know about Atlantis comes from a few pages of the book that I'm holding in my hands, written by the Greek philosopher Plato. He is the gold standard. There is no other ancient source for the myth of Atlantis. This is it.
What if it's true? What if the most extraordinary tale ever told is true?
This city of Atlantis is seen by many as the mother of Egypt and Mesopotamia and Israel and Europe and all the other civilizations that began in this area. And if it began here, we may be looking at the single most important site for humanity.
The world is full of mysteries. Lost islands, ancient city ruins, and hidden treasures often attract many travelers who are on a lookout for adventure. The city of Atlantis is a mystery to the modern world.
Before we begin, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos.
The idea of Atlantis, the lost island subcontinent often idealized as an advanced utopian society holding wisdom that could bring world peace, has captivated dreamers, occultists, and New Agers for generations. Thousands of books, magazines, and websites are devoted to Atlantis, and it remains a popular topic. People have lost fortunes, and in some cases even their lives, looking for Atlantis. Atlantis is a legendary island first mentioned in Plato's dialogues Timaeus and Critias, written around 360 BC. The world still remembers Atlantis as the lost city. Though today Atlantis is often conceived of as a peaceful utopia, the Atlantis that Plato described in his fable was very different. In his book, Encyclopedia of Dubious Archaeology, Professor of Archaeology Ken Feder notes that in Plato's story, Atlantis is not a place to be honored or emulated at all. Atlantis is not the perfect society. Quite the contrary, Atlantis is the embodiment of a materially wealthy, technologically advanced, and militarily powerful nation that has become corrupted by its wealth, sophistication, and might. As propaganda in Plato's morality tale, the Atlantis legend is more about the city's heroic rival Athens than a sunken civilization. If Atlantis really existed today and was found intact and inhabited, its residents would probably try to kill and enslave us all. It's clear that Plato made up Atlantis as a plot device for his stories because there's no other records of it anywhere else in the world. There are many extant Greek texts. Surely someone else would have also mentioned, at least in passing, such a remarkable place. There is simply no evidence from any source that the legends about Atlantis existed before Plato wrote about it. So, why is this story still repeated more than 2,300 years after Plato's death? There are many theories about where Atlantis was, in the Mediterranean, off the coast of Spain, even under what is now Antarctica. Pick a spot on the map, and someone has said that Atlantis was there, says Charles Orser, curator of history at the New York State Museum in Albany. Every place you can imagine. Plato said Atlantis existed about 9,000 years before his own time, and that its story had been passed down by poets, priests, and others. But Plato's writings about Atlantis are the only known records of its existence. Ballard, the ocean explorer, says, the legend of Atlantis is a logical one since cataclysmic floods and volcanic explosions have happened throughout history, including one event that had some similarities to the story of the destruction of Atlantis. About 3,600 years ago, a massive volcanic eruption devastated the island of Santorini in the Aegean Sea near Greece. At the time, a highly advanced society of Minoans lived on Santorini. The Minoan civilization disappeared suddenly at about the same time as the volcanic eruption. But Ballard doesn't think Santorini was Atlantis because the time of the eruption on that island doesn't coincide with when Plato said Atlantis was destroyed. Rom believes Plato created the story of Atlantis to convey some of his philosophical theories. He was dealing with a number of issues, themes that run throughout his work, he says. His ideas about divine versus human nature, ideal societies, the gradual corruption of human society, these ideas are all found in many of his works. Atlantis was a different vehicle to get at some of his favorite themes. Number 1. Where is Atlantis? The mysterious location. the biggest questions that boggle minds of all the scientists is that where is Atlantis? The narration suggested that the city is believed to have sunk into the sea after an earthquake or tsunami. They said that the so-called Atlantis was a large island located near the Rock of Gibraltar and consisted of a Poseidon temple and concentric walls and canals. Plato added that the city under the sea should have been somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. However, no technology so far has revealed any such city on the ocean bed. While some theories suggested that Atlantis is located in the Mediterranean, off the coast of Spain, few also argued that it could be even under Antarctica. For a long time, Azores was believed to be the site of the city of Atlantis. However, new research has revealed a new site, and the scientists are sure that Atlantis can be found in Cadiz, somewhere between the Spain and Morocco waters. The extent of truth in this story is really a mystery in itself. Questions like where is Atlantis or does it even exist for real are still unanswered. But until the truth beneath it can be completely unraveled, the world will continue speculating about the existence of the greatest city of all times. In 1679, the Swedish scientist Olaus Rudbeck published Atland, a 4-volume work in which he attempted to prove that Sweden was the original site of Atlantis and that all human languages were descended from Swedish. Though considered authoritative in his homeland, few outside of Sweden found Rudbeck's arguments convincing. Number 2. The estimated size of Atlantis. The size of Atlantis has been the subject of controversy for many years. Debate has centered on the comparative of the Greek adjective meson used in Timaeus 24e, where it was generally translated as larger, suggesting that Atlantis was larger than Libya and Asia combined. Number 3. Tale of God's Love. Legend says that the Atlantis city was built by Poseidon, the god of sea, of storms and earthquakes, when he fell in love with the mortal woman Cleito. He made this city on top of a hill in an isolated island in the sea to protect her and named it Atlantis. According to the story, Poseidon walked through the world in an effort to find the biggest island until he reached the biggest of them all, Atlantis, and found it to be inhabited by people who were more beautiful and intelligent than the rest of the world. It was then he fell in love with Cleito when he finds her on the island. Number 4. The Captivation Palace. The city of Atlantis, made on top of a hill, is supposed to be surrounded by rings of water and land. There was another hill called the Hill of Cleito where, it is believed, Poseidon captivated his wife because he was distrustful of her loyalty. This hill was surrounded by huge moats and pillars. Number 5. The Golden Statue of Poseidon. The fable tells that Cleito had 5 pairs of twin sons with Poseidon, the eldest of which was named Atlas. The 10 sons inherited the great city and ruled over it. However, it is believed they also built a huge temple for their father with a giant statue of Poseidon riding a chariot carried by winged horses. This statue is believed to be completely built in gold and placed in a temple with its spiral roof so high up that the clouds drifted through the spirals of the temple. Number 6. The Self-Sufficient and Rich City. What's amazing about the city under the sea is its rich wealth. The city is believed to have been a self-sufficient entity where people grew their own food, reared animals, made beautiful buildings and architectures from materials like black and red stone, had access to rare metals and even alloys like brass, made and used crystals extensively for leisure and experimental purposes, and had a lot of free time to even play with volcanoes. Number 7. Rising of Atlantis. Other than the legend of the lost city of Atlantis and other fables, the fact about the city still remains unknown. Among historians and other researchers, the findings of Edgar Cayce had something different to tell. Edgar Cayce believed in the rising of the lost city once again, like the sun rises from the sea. He predicted a new land would appear off the east coast of North America. He also suggested that the souls of a number of people living in Atlantis had been incarnating to America in order to usher in a new era of enlightened human consciousness. According to his book, The entry to Hall of Records of the Atlantis city can be found under the right paw of the Sphinx of Egypt, which was later placed there only to protect the city from unmanned entry. His book says the entry will be possible only when the required time has been fulfilled. Number 8. The original inhabitants of the lost city of Atlantis. Stories also claim that the original inhabitants of the lost city of Atlantis are believed to be of extraterrestrial origin who reached there about 50,000 years ago from the Lyrian star system. Despite being much taller and fairer than today's average human being, the average lifespan of these people is believed to have been 800 years, making them a really robust and strong prototype of existent human race then. Number 9. Exceptional powers of Atlanteans. As some claim that the lost city of Atlantis was on Mars or was just a colony of alien civilization, the inhabitants of the Atlantis city believed to have the possessors of exceptional powers such as the ability to control weather, modify volcanic eruptions. Some accounts also mention their possession of some sort of device that allowed them to channel energy from time and space. Even though the myth says that the inhabitants of Atlantis City were superior beings, there are some of the opinion that it is just a mythical representation of a barbaric fashion of life. While many still consider the lost city of Atlantis as just a legend, there are many conspiracy theories doing the rounds suggesting that the fable is actually based on real events. Ignatius Donnelly confirms the existence and disappearance of a mid-Atlantic continent that was in the exact location that Plato mentioned. As the debate goes on, few researchers claim that this utopian kingdom was a real continent located off the Bahamas, and it was swallowed up by the Bermuda Triangle later, while another group suggested the current Antarctica is the newer version of Atlantis. Meanwhile, James Romm, a professor at Bard College in Annandale in New York, says Plato himself created the story in order to convey some of his philosophical theories, mostly about his vision of an ideal civilization.